So, Fallout Season 2 is here, and here nice and quickly too, which is something increasingly rare for modern, big blockbuster television shows that more often than not have gaps of multiple years between seasons. Some say those gaps are necessary in order to create the best television possible, but Fallout Season 2 is proving that it can be done on a much quicker timescale and that studios can still produce something spectacular in the process. The first episode of Season 2 dropped today, and right from its opening scene, it grabs you, bringing you right back into the world of Fallout audiences fell in love with back in early 2024, and gamers fell in love with years prior to that. Much like Season 1, Season 2 continues to have stellar writing so far. It's deep and complex and layered with different narratives that all fit together intricately. And as I mentioned in my in-depth analysis video on Season 1, one of the key elements of why the show works so well is its characters and how their differing worldviews stemming from their wildly different life experiences create interesting philosophical debates around morality and humanity when these characters interact with one another. The ending of Season 1 left me excited in particular to see Lucy and the Ghoul now working together, given how different their worldviews are. But unlike in Season 1, where Lucy was the Ghoul's prisoner, they now have a common goal that unites them, this being finding Lucy's father, Hank McLean, tying them together despite their ideological differences. Already in just episode 1 of Season 2 alone, this has created both humorous moments as well as some more dramatic ones, and I'm interested to see how their interactions continue to shape each other's characters as the season progresses. Season 2 picks up directly after Season 1 with no indication of any sort of time jump for any of the plot lines, and particularly given how Season 2 was able to be released not too long after the first season, I think this works well. We dive back in right where we left off, and the show feels very fresh in my head despite not having watched it since around the time Season 1 came out, which in itself is a mark of good writing for the first season. There's a recap trailer that does play before the new episode starts for anyone who needs it though, and as recap trailers go, it's a pretty good one. The writing of this season remains clear without treating the audience as stupid. And this is unfortunately something that is becoming more common within television writing due to the directives being handed out by certain studios to make television more understandable for viewers who are on their phones at the same time as watching.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's something called second screen viewing, right? So it's a directive that's being handed out by big studios to filmmakers.
Please, this sounds like what I'm really hoping it isn't.
It is exactly what you probably think it
is.
is.
This is something that stands up to...
Which means that you have to acknowledge that people are on their phones the whole time they're watching telly. So you have to simplify the plot so that they'll be able to follow along while they're browsing on their phone. So that's why you'll notice now in random, like in TV shows, even with good actors, they're saying really obvious things about what's happening. They're laying out the entire plot line and all of their emotions and motivations. Like the language has become really bait and on the nose. And that's because they're being told, the writers, that they have to write in a way that someone can carry on with doom scrolling or shopping online while following it in the background. So nothing can be too complex, nothing can be too high end. It has to be like we are purposefully dumbing down content, and that is leading to a less nuanced, less interesting, less thoughtful society.
Truly dystopian times we're living in, aren't we? Thankfully, Fallout Season 2 doesn't seem to suffer from this, and the writing isn't overly exposition heavy, and the pacing of the first episode flows nicely, suggesting that nothing is overemphasized or slowed down to accommodate the mind of a doom scroller. In terms of visuals and the overall aesthetic of the show, Season 2 carries on the beautiful art direction, cinematography, set design, costume design, camera work, and musical score as Season 1. Sometimes the second season of television shows is where these things can change quite a bit, like with The Witcher, for example, which changed composers and costume designers between Seasons 1 and 2, which changed the overall vibe and aesthetic of the show in subtle but significant ways. Thankfully, however, given how excellent Season 1 of Fallout was in all these areas, the fact that they remain consistent with Season 1 is great news. There are still multiple plot lines in this season that have yet to begin, as the first episode has yet to show us what Maximus is getting up to this season, for instance, and there's numerous new characters to be introduced this season as well, such as Macaulay Culkin, who's a new addition to the cast with apparently a big role in the season. The end of the episode plays a what to expect in the rest of the season trailer, and it looks to continue to be very promising, so I'm genuinely super excited to see what comes next, and episode 1 has set the season off to a very promising start. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested in seeing more videos on Fallout Season 2 and your favourite movies and shows, I'd really appreciate you dropping a like on the video and subscribing for more. Thank you.